Hey everybody, it's Jordan and Trey. We are here in Seattle. We finally got everything taken care of with the house. The sale is finalized, everything's done, and we're staying in an Airbnb here in Seattle until we leave on the 31st for Barcelona.
Yeah, so just wanted to give you all a little update. We do have a new address now as well. So if you're close to us and you want our address, let us know and we can send it to you individually. But basically, we've been getting some questions about how do we have an address in the US when we move abroad, or do you even need one? Well, the answer is yes, you do need to have an address in the States, and it makes it easier for a couple things. For example, no matter where we are in the world, no matter what countries we become citizens of, you have to always file US taxes forever. And with that tax filing, you need to have an address. It also helps with things like having a bank account still, we still have our Washington driver's licenses, so we needed an address to be able to update all of that. So we're using something called Traveling Mailbox, which I'll show you in a little bit. But basically, what that is a monthly subscription service that you pay for, where all of your mail goes to basically a giant warehouse. And then every month they include, we pay for the basic plan, so it's like 30 envelopes a month that they will send you an email showing you your mail, and you can either choose to shred it, you can choose to send a picture of it, or you can choose to have them actually physically mail it to you. And so many are included each month. It's pretty affordable. I think we're paying about $14-15 a month for it. We do live in Washington, and of course, those are the premium addresses. So it was like $5 more than some other places. But we have an address in Tacoma. I was a little bit not upset with the company, but they say that it looks very residential. Now, on a map, it looks residential, but the address has like a suite number and a number in it. And to me, that doesn't sound very residential. So when we went and updated with the post office, for example, they flagged us as like fraudulent people, and we had to go show our IDs in person, and then it was fine. So just be wary of companies saying it looks residential. It doesn't really look residential, but it will function. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So that's how we're basically managing some of those things while we're abroad.
Yeah, so we were introduced to this company because Trey's dad is traveling around the country in an RV and had to have his mail sent to a certain place because he doesn't have a home anymore. And so we knew that this company was a reputable company and that Trey's dad has used it before. So we're going to go over the details with you on what this company is and what they're all about and how it works. We also had to change our phones, and we're porting those numbers over to Google Voice. So Trey will go into some more detail about that. The other thing that we had to change was our bank account. So we had local credit union, which isn't great with working with overseas type stuff, and so we changed to Charles Schwab. That's an international bank, and we also have a Wise account, which we use to transfer money from the dollar to euros or the dollar to whatever pounds or whatever we might need at the time. So we have money set aside in the Wise account right now because the other day the dollar was doing better than it has been. So we've got money in Charles Schwab and Wise at the moment.
Yeah, so going a little bit further, the reason we want to port our numbers over to Google Voice. So what you can do with that is it's a one-time fee of $20 per person, and that means that we will always keep our cell phone numbers, and it will go over to a Google Voice account, which kind of looks like an email web browser, so folks can still contact us. And why that's important is, for example, the bank. A lot of times they send you those one-time passwords to get in. Well, if you don't have a US account, a US phone number, they can't send you those. So it's really important that you keep a US phone number. And it's cheaper to port it over to Google Voice and then get a local SIM card when we get to Spain than it will be to pay for an international plan that are really expensive. And nowadays, all the SIM cards are eSIMs anyways, so the second we land in Spain, you can just buy an eSIM and it's super easy. Saying the other thing he mentioned was the Wise accounts. It kind of is like our version of a Venmo. But what Wise does is you can choose to hold a balance in your account in any number of currencies. So we can have a dollar balance, we can have a euro balance, we can have a pound balance. I mean, it's like every currency under the sun. And it'll tell you what the exchange rate is every day. And when we worked with a financial advisor, for any sum less than $10,000, Wise is pretty much the go-to in terms of it is the cheapest conversion factor. So if you show up in Spain and then stand at the airport and convert your dollars to euros, that's probably like the most expensive way to do it. But if you do it through Wise, it's a lot cheaper. And then you can see day to day what the exchange rate is. So what we've been doing is on really good exchange rate days is putting money into Wise and leaving it in that euro balance, because that's how we're paying the landlord. That's how we're going to pay for a car, and all that kind of stuff. You can even get a debit card that goes with your Wise account so that you can use it virtually as a bank account if you want. But that's what we can use, from now moving forward, is kind of that Wise setup.
That traveling mailbox that we talked about. So we don't have any mail in here yet, but whenever we do get mail, it'll just show up in here just like an email will, and then we can choose what to do with it. You can choose to forward it, so every time you get a piece of mail, you can say, I want it sent here, or next week I want it sent there. So it works really good if you're traveling around as well. You don't have to be only sending it to one address. And what they do when you get mail is you can choose how often to send it. So for example, let's say you got 10 envelopes throughout the month and you wanted them sent to you in the mail. You could choose to have them bundle it all together, so you'd only pay for the shipping one time. Same thing if you were in a location that didn't get, for example, Amazon boxes. You could order a bunch of things from Amazon, and we all know how Amazon packages things. Have it shipped to your traveling mailbox. They will unbox everything and rebox it into one small package, like as small as they can get it, and then ship it to you, so when you pay the shipping, it's a lot cheaper. So that's that traveling mailbox option. And then when we talked about Google Voice, so we don't have it set up yet. The reason why is that the second you set up Google Voice, it automatically cancels your cell phone plan that you have here if you set it up with your current number, which we want to do. So we will set it up like right before we board the plane. Pro tip we learned is that you have to set it up from the US, or you have to use a VPN from the US to get a US phone number. So don't wait until you get to Europe and then try to port your number over, because you're going to have difficulty with it. So we're just going to do it like right before we board the plane. But I mean, you can see here, people can leave you voicemails and you can read through them just like an email. You can set your greeting. You can make international calls through there. You can block callers, screen callers, all that kind of stuff, aside from calls, texts, and voicemails. Because we have iPhones, folks can still use just a traditional iMessage or FaceTime with us through either our old or our new number. It wouldn't really matter because it's through Wi-Fi calling. If not, if it's Android users, then we recommend using WhatsApp, because it would be free to message and call through WhatsApp internationally. But we will be able to get in touch with you with Google Voice. And then this is kind of what it would look like the second I actually put my phone number in here. This is where I would see my list of text messages and my voicemails and all that kind of stuff. And then the last one that we talked about is Wise. So Wise, and all of these can be apps on your phone as well as on the laptop. But Wise, at the top when you log in, it'll tell you your balance. How much you have in dollars, how much you have in euros, and so on and so forth. Whatever currency you're using, you can send, just like you send folks money through Venmo. You can send money through here securely. And then every day it shows what the transfer rate is. So we can say today $1 equals 0.854 euros. So it's pretty good. We've seen it higher, we've seen it lower. You can see the trend, right? So on days when it's up, that would be a great day to transfer money in. And on days when it's down, then you already have it. And then you can choose if you want to transfer, do you need 100 euros to pay somebody? Well, then you can change this to say, I need 100 euros. How much? And then that's going to be $118. But really the fees, it's only $1.43 for fees. So Wise is really good about the low fee rate on top of the currency exchange. So that's kind of a cool little trick, is Wise. So we hope you all find this useful, and you'll obviously still be able to get in touch with us through Google Voice, iMessage, or WhatsApp.